Yes, dear children, look at the alpha helix form. So you are having C double bond O, then you have CHR, then NH, like that it goes around, is it not? So CO group of one amino acid group is attached to NH of the another amino acid that is coming in this turn. So these two are attached. So this is the attachment. This kind of intramolecular hydrogen bonding is what is holding the polypeptide chain in the form of turns. Okay, this is what is holding them in the form of turns. Okay, so this is your alpha helix. Now same way, look at this parallel and anti-parallel conformation there. I was telling you NH, then CO, then NH, then CHR, CO. So this is one polypeptide chain. This is another polypeptide chain. It is starting with N-terminal C. All of them are N-terminal chains. They are called as parallel conformation. Now in this case you find this is one terminal and look at this. See यहाँ पे NH आ गया तो ये CO होगा, यहाँ पे CO है तो ये NH होगा, ठीक है? Amino group, then CHR, then CO, then NH. Okay, so this is anti-parallel conformation. One is starting with N terminal and the next one is starting with C terminal. So this is anti-parallel conformation. Then the polypeptide chains are lying side by side and there is intermolecular hydrogen bonding. CO और दूसरी chain की NH के साथ intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Same way here also you have. So this is what you call it as beta pleated structure. And then when you come to tertiary structure, in the case of tertiary structure, it arises due to complex folding of secondary structure gives rise to tertiary structure. And this tertiary structure is of two types. One is fibrous, the other one is globular. Okay. I have already given you the difference between fibrous protein and globular proteins, right? So fibrous and globular form, they are nothing but tertiary structure of a protein. Now that is due to complex folding of the secondary structure. Now what kind of intermolecular forces are there in a tertiary structure which stabilize the tertiary structure, right? Now say this is a polypeptide chain. And again, this is another polypeptide chain. Between these two, what are all the different types of intermolecular forces that are existing? One is hydrogen bond. That is CO of one polypeptide chain is attached to NH of another chain through intermolecular hydrogen bond. This is one type of stabilizing force. Then, say for example, you have an acidic amino acid and a basic amino acid. So here you are having a carboxyl end and NH2 here. There is an extra NH2 here. There is an extra carboxyl group here. Is that clear? So from COOH group, hydrogen has been shifted over to the basic end, that is NH2. So it has become NH3 plus and this has become COO minus. So there is electrostatic force of attraction or ionic interaction between the two. So this is one kind of interactive force which is stabilizing the tertiary structure. Then apart from that, there may be a sulfur containing amino acid here. There may be another sulfur containing amino acid here. So through disulfide bridges also this stabilization can take place. Now apart from that, say you have alanine, then leucine, all those structures you saw, there is some R group. So this is an isopropyl group. Again, this is another isopropyl group. It need not be exactly isopropyl, it may be any other R chain. So between the R chains, there is van der Waals force of interaction or hydrophobic interaction, right? So that is again another force which will stabilize the tertiary structure, right? Then comes quaternary structure. Quaternary structure, it is arising due to assembly of two or more polypeptide chains which come together. That is giving rise to quaternary structure. Say you can show like this. This is the simple sequence of amino acid, that is your primary structure. Then alpha helical structure, that is your secondary. Then complex folding of secondary will give rise to tertiary structure. And then more than one polypeptide chains coming together, an assembly of 2 or 3 or more, that will give rise to quaternary structure. Okay. So this is how the structure of proteins have been discussed. Right? So that is what I have given you in the notes also. Now come to the next one, that is denaturation of proteins. Now what is denaturation? Loss of biological activity of a protein is called denaturation. Now what happens during denaturation? In a protein, primary structure, secondary structure, tertiary structure, everything is there, is it not? During denaturation, secondary and tertiary structures are lost, but primary structure remains intact. That is the simple sequence of amino acid which constitutes the primary structure, that will not get spoiled. Only the folding of polypeptide chain and then complex folding of secondary into tertiary, all that gets lost, but primary remains intact. Okay. Now the best example that you can give for denaturation is coagulation of egg white on boiling. So what happens there? Albumin, which is present in egg, which is a globular protein, that gets denatured, resulting in the formation of insoluble fibrous form. And then the most common thing that you know is curdling of milk. That is again denaturation.